Hey guys, so there's been a lot of talk, and really the reason I'm seeing it is because it was pointed out to me that one of the posts on one of the tie-dye sites was actually my recipe for my UV dye, and so I just want to say this, like, first and foremost, like any of my chem water that I make, it's just what I've done over time, and it's all the experiments that I've tried myself, where I literally one day mixed up 45 reds. So I used one red color and I mix it up in 45 different ways in 45 different bottles, just like a bottle just like this. And I did a test shirt where I did squares on the shirt. I tied the shirt up and folded it in a certain way so everything was exactly the same. And I tested everything from tap water to distilled water to pre-soaked in soda ash to a plain shirt. I have a shirt here that is pre-soaked in soda ash. I have a black light here. It's a 5,000 watt black light. So for this is for UV, okay? But I'm gonna use my chemical. I've also seen a lot of talk about, like, oh, you know, I don't use chemical water, I never have. That's great. If you're getting good dye and good saturation and good colors, I support that, because yeah, this is a process, but this is what's worked for me. So and I just wanted to talk about the UV, and I'm going to experiment right here, and I'm going to basically, I have a couple of things picked out. I have a psychedelic, right? So I have the UV psychedelic right here. I picked out orange sherbet. So I have a pretty big collection of dyes. As you guys can see in the background, these are all completely full of dyes. What I picked out for the experiment is I picked out pastel colors, if you will. So if you're going to go and use a very rich dye, like something like, you know, atomic fireball for your UV, you're probably not going to get a UV out of it. If you use a watermelon, though, however, you might. Now, we all know that if you primary colors, and that's what I'm dealing with right here, I'm trying to deal with the primary colors. If you add a yellow to it, it is going to change. And so it's how much change can you get and still keep the UV, but also still get the colors and have your shirt glow, okay? So I just want to show you, and I'm still doing testing with UV stuff. I have dyed up 2 shirts, completely dyed them, and I'm going to do some experiments with these 2 later on. What I want to do with these, though, is I want to try doing a reverse dye with one of these shirts, and then I want to tie and dye on top of a UV that has already been processed and dried and actually reacts. So where these shirts do glow because of the UV light, okay? Also, this morning I made this video and I didn't like it because it went too long, and this one probably will too. But I did the same thing that I did over here, and I have already a process, or it's not processed yet, but this is a UV one that I made this morning, and I threw in my my little heat box over here. It's nice and warm. I'm going to clean this before this video is over, and I'm going to show you. We're going to see what it looks like. So if you're making UV, the one suggestion that I can give you is make sure you're mixing your chemical waters with a black light, so that way you can actually see when the chemical change happens. If you come in and you mix your UV with other colors and you're not getting them to illuminate, or my question is are you doing it under black light? Because if I put a tablespoon of watermelon in this and I put a tablespoon of UV in it, one's going to wash out the other. And the only way I'm going to know how bright my UV is going to be is do it under black light. So I'm doing this under black light. I'm going to do it with my chem water that I make, and I'm going to mix it right now, and we're going to do it super fast. We're already 5 minutes in. I'm using distilled water. I'm using 100 and 50 milliliters is what I'm going for on each of these. And we're just gonna see what happens. I fail more than I pass. Let's say that. I don't always. This may not work out. I mean, everything we do is an experiment here. So this is just mine. Lugol. I get this from the Grateful Dye Company. Okay, I saw some people asking where they buy their chemicals from. That's where I get mine from. I'm just gonna mix up. This is my chem water that I do, and normally I would mix this and I would let it sit for a little while, maybe 30 to 45 minutes before I dye. But I'm gonna dye a shirt up while I do this video. So I'll get all these going. Urea, 3 teaspoons. Also, I'll tell you, just by listening to the noise of these, I can tell how smooth the dye is. The reason I did that 45 test, 45 dyes of red, the reason I did that was because I was trying to get my dye to a center of a nub. So I did a test. I tied a nub up as tight as I could get it, and my goal was, can I get dye to the center of that? And so I did all kinds of tests. 15 drops of the sea oil. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm not gonna try. I'm severely dyslexic and reading is not my thing. But what I do know is that this is 1.6 teaspoons. 1/6 of a teaspoon, and that's about 15 drops. I tried doing 20, and actually it started falling off, so I didn't get the good saturations. I didn't get the line work that I needed. So if you add too much urea and too much of your oil, it will actually spread further than I'd liked it. So this is, again, what works for me. What works for me is, let's say this, the temperature in this room, the temperature of the water that I have sitting in this room, the temperature of my box, right? So whenever I'm doing UV, I will mix it and I'll put it in the box, and I'm gonna start it at about 90 degrees for about 2 hours. I'm gonna increase that to about 120 degrees. I'm gonna increase that to 140 degrees. I'm gonna increase it to 160. I'm gonna go all the way up to 190. And then I'm gonna let that do that over about a 12-hour period or more, right? So it's very important that we understand that with UV, it is a slower process for it to work in. Now, if you want to do something like this, it's real simple. Here's some hot water right here, okay? If I was to get this, and that's hot because that was just boiling. And it doesn't take much, y'all. I mean, it really doesn't take much of the UV. It's boiling hot water right there, right? That obviously is glowing with the light. And I know it's glowing because I got my light here. I could dye a shirt and I could have UV. I could already have shirts dyed and dried, and I could go and saturate. I could do an infusion on a shirt just like I did this and dip the whole shirt in and pull it out, and it's gonna glow. And any of the white spots that are left. It'll also change the color of that shirt. So your oranges are gonna get a little bit darker. Your blues are gonna kind of wash out a little bit. Your yellows are gonna be more yellow. But that's what it will do. So, watermelon. Oh wait, I didn't finish doing my chemicals. So I did urea, I did the oil, Lugol. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of that. I know, it's a lot. I actually do a little bit less. I don't fill it all the way up. You see my little cup there. you hear this? It's already quietening down. All right. Kick that up a little bit. Okay. Now, alginate. I'm not a big fan of it, but I like good line work. I put a dusting. I mean, just a dusting of that in there. Not much at all. And when I say a dusting, let's just actually see what I'm talking about. That is, I don't put any more than that in there. That goes a long way for me. Okay, remember, this is my recipe. And then I do a tablespoon of salt. I haven't seen any big benefit, I'm not gonna lie, of doing the salt. However, when I did all my tests, I added it to it and I got good color. And I actually got the best color on a tied shirt that was pre-soaked in soda ash, doing even Kinney style. All right, so that's what worked for me. All right, so now I'm gonna set all that aside. So my Kim water's all made up. I'm happy with that, where it's at right now. Small increments. Small increments, all right? Let's get you so you can actually see this. This will wash out and take off fast. I got a bad magnet. All right, we're gonna start with watermelon. So with this recipe, 100 milliliters, I put in 2 teaspoons of dye into it. I'm not doing that today, but if I was mixing my normal mixture, that's what I would do. I'm gonna put a teaspoon in. What is it gonna take to get it to glow? I see I'm trying to keep it that red color, but it's starting to turn orange on me. All right, it's starting to illuminate. Now I'll probably put, I don't know, a teaspoon and a half in there on top of a 1 teaspoon color. Now the chemical recipe that's online is the only colors I've tried, but I wanted to try something different to kind of show y'all how my method of doing this is. Splashing. So while that's mixing, let's get into another color. Here's Robin's egg. Robin's egg blue. Got a teaspoon of that. And then we're gonna do orange over here. And this is orange sherbet. Okay, do the same thing. Now I can tell you, I've done Robin's blue. It does not take much for that. Look at it. See, it's already changed. I mean, that's glowing. Oh, I just went for a ride. Sorry about that. Hopefully you didn't hurt yourself. And it still has a blue hue to it, okay? Now we got the orange. Again, I mean, just a little bit at a time. Calm down there. Well, it looks like the watermelon is not wanting to cooperate. I don't know at what point it will return, if at all. Trying to get the orange to go. Alright, so that orange now, you can see it. There's a little bit of a glow to it. Oh, let's see what it would take for this one to do it. Another teaspoon. Probably have lost it. We're just going to do that. We're going to see what happens. I don't want to put any more in there because this shit's expensive. I'm going to put a little bit of blue back in here. Watermelon. 66. Okay. Also, one thing I do, I use filters. That's going to have a lot of sediment in it. So, y'all getting bored yet? So we got 3 of them going. 2 of them are glowing. One thing I didn't do is mix the dye itself, other than that one we have. This is a Bella canvas shirt. Maybe I'll give it away. When you guys want the shirt, this is a women's small. Process it tonight. At the end of my video, I'll go ahead and do the shirt up, and I'll give it away. How about this? Anybody that wants a shirt, tag one of your friends in the video, and I'll enter you into giving it away. This is a small, so it may not be for you, but you can give it to someone you know, assuming you like it. I know it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, and that's because I don't. Yeah, I'm using sinew. Did I say that? Now, I am going to filter these. Try to get that sediment out of it. You can get these filters off Amazon for look up paint filters or strings. I use it because I have a construction company and I do custom cabinetry, and I use it for lacquer. It's very fine. Now, I'm telling you guys, I am pulling this as tight as I can. I already broke the string once, but that's why I made my chemical the way I made it, and so I could get deep down into these folds. Now I know if you don't use chemical water, your colors will go deep into the folds. What I don't like is not having control over how it spreads. So the reason I do certain things is for that. Alright, let's say we're good there. And look, right in the string. Okay. Is your robin blue? Here's your orange, which was watermelon. It is color splitting inside there. It's a trip. And yeah, I'm mixing all the same colors in the same thing, the same filter, because it is for the video. Alright, one thing I am going to do though, I'm going to mix some UV. Actually, let's not. We won't do just any UV. We're just going to do it just like this. I don't want to cloud the experiment. Alright, come closer. Alright, let's go. Let's go dark. Where's my droppers? We let the dye guides do what the dye guides do. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna process it out of shirt. All right, the water boiling. I'm gonna take it back. Get it boiling again. I'm not gonna go and try to wash out the soda ash from it. Okay. There's the shirt. See a little glow happening in there. Again, that was from today, me doing the same video. And apparently that video is probably a little bit faster than this video. Y'all. All right. So there's the shirt. All right. I'm gonna put it in the bucket, the bowl. We're just gonna put boiling hot water on it because I'm just trying to get it clean for y'all for the video. Normally I would have washed out the soda ash and blah, 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 blah. Here's your initial look, 38 minutes in. This shirt here, I did no different than what we're doing right here. Obviously, I haven't seen it either. There's your UV. Well, let's turn that light out. See it in real color. Now this was a very quick tie up. Just as quick as the one we're doing right here. I didn't make sure I got good saturation. I literally just threw it in, tied it up. I wish I'd have put a little more red in it. Maybe even covered it a little bit with black. Could have highlighted some stuff a little bit better, but the concept is the same. Under black light, it glows. And the colors I have in this are yellow, blue, and red. So with those three colors, we have purple in here. This is going to look a little bit different once it's washed out, obviously. There's orange in this. And the only colors that I used in this shirt was a blue UV and 3 different saturation levels with a red to accent everything else. and go. So I'm gonna finish dyeing this one up. I'll post it in the video. It's been 41 minutes. That's a hell of a way too long. But I hope y'all learned something about the UV. If there's any questions y'all have, you know, ask me. You know, at the end of the day, like, we're all in this together, you know, we're all creating, you know, art. We're having fun doing it. Everybody has their own experience, and my experience today is not going to be my same experience, you know, 30, 60, or 90 days from now. Hopefully it will have grown and turned into something else. I also appreciate y'all sharing your energy with me, because at the end of the day, I'm a madman. I'm completely nuts inside of here, and I need this as my outlet. I've been without drugs and alcohol for almost 9 years now. Sober. I do a lot of fun and cool stuff. I get to live life to the fullest, and I did all that other stuff in my previous life. And to me, like today, this is an outlet for me to be able to go out, and I still go to a hell of a lot of shows. I have some very, very close friends, and I don't care what you guys do. In fact, do some for me. But, you know, let's share this together, you know. So I love you guys, and I hope to see y'all. Leave your remarks and let me know what you think about the whole thing. And that was very fast, spearheaded, and a very uncontrolled, with a little bit of control manner there. So I just still drink the Kool-Aid, man. Drink it.